upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
All right, you're listening to Mornings of Lone Star here on irlonestar.com worldwide and Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1. It's me, your morning host, Dick Schisler, hanging out in the studio. We are also live on YouTube and Facebook. That means we have a special guest appearance in the studio today. We actually have two separate groups, but this is our first group. We're going to talk about the National Night Out happening tomorrow, presented by the Conroe Police over at the Kroger on the South Loop. We're going to talk all about that right now. So in the studio, I have Sergeant David Dickenson, and I have Andrew Yousse and Elizabeth West in the studio with me. Guys, welcome to Lone Star Community Radio and Mornings with Lone Star. What's going on?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing, Elizabeth?
Good.
I didn't hear you, so I just wanted to make sure you're alive. Some people are listening and are like, you said there was 3 people. So we're going to be talking about National Night Out, which is a national, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a calendar event. Is it? Is it always on the third day of October, every third day?
It's up,
Yes.
or is it the first Tuesday? Which one is it?
Here we go. We're going to go in the history of it.
First week of October.
Okay. You want to talk in the mic for me, please?
The first, I believe it's the first Tuesday in October. And there you can Google it. Some states have a different day. I know Texas has always been the first Tuesday in October.
But the Conroe Police is actually having a special event for this because sometimes local neighborhoods, local HOAs, and especially like I know when I was growing up, we had a combined like 3 neighborhoods did something where the local grocery store, like kind of like similar to Kroger, but it wasn't even by the police. It was just everyone just got together and just had like a barbecue.
Yeah, and that's a great question for Sergeant Dickenson because he can give you the kind of history of what National Night Out is intended to be, and that's exactly what it is, and he can give you a little of that background.
Yeah, so National Night Out started in 1984. This is the 40th anniversary, which engages everyone through the community. Conroe PD started doing a singular community event about 15 years ago, I believe. We moved to the Kroger's parking lot, one of our big sponsors this year, about 5 years ago. And they're one of our biggest supporters. National Night Out was basically designed to create a safer community, getting to know your neighbors, to cultivate a community of caring for one another, involving the police, getting to meet your police. Local law enforcement has an objective to make Conroe safer, and a lot of that has to do with community involvement with their citizens.
Yeah, I always thought it was just an excuse for more officers on the street.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. I grew up in a family of police officers and things like that, HPD. And National Night Out was always one of those nights where I know my uncle always looked forward to it because it was his opportunity to get out of his car and actually talk to people and not have the daily interactions of dealing with butt heads and stuff like that all the time. So you're actually dealing with nice people. And they give you hot dogs and stuff, so it's always good.
My wife and I, before we moved to Conroe, we lived in Spring, and what Sergeant Dickenson and I were talking about earlier was a lot of communities do their own thing. The Homeowners Association will arrange and organize a national night out. We had the constable's office, I think it was Precinct 4 over there. We had a specific lieutenant who was our neighborhood constable, and he was always there, so we knew who our local constable was, but we were excited about it when we moved there because it was an opportunity to get out and meet our neighbors, see who's living around us, who's in our community, what's available, talk and get to know the neighbors, not just the policing efforts, because even as Sergeant Dickenson will tell you, the best policing you can have is when the neighbors know each other. The neighbors know who to call, what looks suspicious, what's out of place. You see a vehicle that's driving slowly down the street in the middle of the night, you would know if one of your neighbors is coming.
So you're interrogating everybody? It sounds like that's what you're doing, Andrew.
You're not
all your neighbors.
I'm not that guy looking out the window. Yeah. No, well, now
How many dogs do you have? How
With
many
the Ring
children?
doorbell, and people like to communicate, but the best police that you can have is knowing your community.
Oh, for sure, especially if
understanding
they're
what's going
regularly
on.
being patrolled
Yeah.
by the same crew. And let's kind of focus on tomorrow, the 3rd, from 5 to I think it's 5 to
8.
5 to 8.
5 to 8.
I want to let listeners know I do have the link to the Facebook event and also to the national website. But the Facebook event has the local details, kind of going over when it's starting, where it is, and then especially what it is. So there's free food, music, and family fun. That's kind of like the easiest invite ever for me to go check out. They'll start with free, and then you have music. So yes, it's going to be the weather. I think it's going to be pleasant. I think rain is expected to come Thursday, so this is perfect. Yeah. And I want to encourage people. The South Kroger parking lot is really big, so you guys shouldn't have a problem finding parking, and especially going towards the event area. So tell me a little bit about the family fun. What is that? Does anyone know what the family fun means?
Let's talk about what's going to be there. What does Conroe Police have out there for the family? They're going to have Sergeant Dickenson will tell you everything that Conroe Police is going to have out there.
Okay.
So first responders, we're also for the Conroe Police Department. We're going to have our SWAT. We're going to have SWAT officers there, mounted patrol units, our motorcycle units. The Chief of Police, Jeff Christie, will be there also, along with Mayor Chakowski. There will be several council members on hand. Also, the other first responders from other agencies will be joining us. Will be the Conroe Fire Department, the PHI Lifelight. We'll have Montgomery County Constables, Precincts 1 and 2, Conroe ISD Police, the Department of Public Safety, and the Texas Forestry Service. With that said, we're going to have free hot dogs, chips and drinks and sodas and waters. We're going to have a jumpy house for the kids. So it's going to be a really good time. It's always a big event every year. We always have a great turnout, and we can't wait to see everybody.
Well, I guess special shout out to Kroger for letting you guys use their parking lot. That's pretty cool, right?
Yes, not to mention Kroger's, H-E-B, Sam's, Walmart, Coca-Cola, the Iceman of Conroe, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Kona Ice will be there.
Iceman of Conroe?
Kona Ice.
Who's that? I kind of want to know who that is. Now, I also want to know this National Forest people you were saying they were coming in. Who are those people?
Forestry Service. You know, if we have Jones Forest right there on 14th Street, there's a big forestry service right there. They basically deal with protecting our state and national forests.
Because National Night Out, it was kind of a police directive, but then I guess you can encompass every type of like public service, emergency service.
It's not just law enforcement.
Yeah.
It's the fire department. There's other community partners and the agencies that come out there that it's all part of it.
And for folks coming out, like with the food idea, you said hot dogs, chips, and waters, and then basically you're just gonna make it until you give them all away. So you gotta get there.
No, we got plenty. We always have leftovers, so we encourage everybody. We
Okay,
always
good.
have
Just
leftovers.
making sure. So I was like, you want to get there at 5 o'clock, guys.
No.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't. You should have a hot dog eating contest with all the police officers.
That's a good idea. I'll recommend that, but I'll pass.
Oh, that'd be hilarious to watch that.
We're putting Eddie in there.
Yeah.
So, let's talk a little bit about, National Night Out. National Night Out is a great way to reflect, for the community to reflect for their service people. And then also, is there any other things going on with the Conroe Police? Because I know you guys always have stuff going on. How else can people support you guys year round?
Yeah, just come up and just say hello. We're busy. We work. We try and interact with the community. But if you see an officer, walk up, extend a hand, shake his hand, introduce yourself. We'll introduce ourselves. We always like to get to know the people in our community. But
that's why I really like being in downtown here, because a
Or
lot of
patrol
times,
officers.
a lot of times you see officers. It's more like a relaxed kind of like he's just kind of she's checking everything out. So it is they're more approachable to me instead of, you don't want to just go talk to them because they're pulling someone over and be like, hey, what's going on?
yeah, you get to meet them on a personal level, not opposed to an enforcement
we
stop.
did not want you guys to do that. But tomorrow is a perfect night to meet a lot of officers and to meet a lot of other people in your community. I like what Andrew said, where the neighborhoods would get together. And I didn't really think about that until because I grew up in a neighborhood where we're always together. So when we had National Night Out, it was more of people who had dads and moms who were officers. They got to have a lot of, street cred that day, because it's like, there's my mom, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
It's changed. The way that the world has changed, the technology has kind of eliminated that personal association you have with your neighbors. People are more closed off and secluded, and especially in a lot of neighborhoods. We know the people right around us, to the left and right of us, maybe across the street. But growing up, you knew the entire block. You knew every family on the block. So with this is an opportunity to at least get to know, put faces with names, find out maybe you have a child that.
And I in your neighborhood, I'm asking, like, if I want to know more about my neighborhood, I just go to the HOA website. I have no idea, because like a lot of local areas do throw their own national night out. Like even some homes do. Some people literally just hang out in front of their house. And because I remember I didn't realize it was National Night Out one time. I was in Houston visiting my sister, and all these people were just hanging out outside. And I called her. I go, hey, is this one of those neighborhoods where everyone just like drinks beer on the front yard and just hangs out all the time? He's like, no, it's National Night Out, so they're doing all this stuff.
That's a great question. In Conroe, what if, say, Crichton Ridge or Crichton Woods wanted to do their own, the HOA over there wanted to do a National Night Out? Is that encouraged? Are the police trying to say, no, we have a singular National Night Out? Or what if they did break off? Would you be able to still support that and maybe send officers over there to talk to them?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We encouraged neighborhoods and HOAs, to throw their own National Night Out as well. And they can call up to the Conroe Police Department and request an officer to come speak to the neighborhood or their HOA and the citizens in that neighborhood. Talk to them about security.
This is going to be a strange question, but I was looking at the National Night Out website. I guess it is an organization itself. It's an actual organization. So is there like official, do they brand certain meetings for National Night Out, like the official National Night Out place? Like
I don't know if there's like an official. I know that every city, county, municipality, major agencies sponsor their own National Night Out, like Conroe does, Montgomery County Sheriff does down there.
Okay, yeah, because when I was looking at it, I go, what are they trying to raise money for? What is it? Are they trying to raise money?
I believe it's nationally funded. I think.
Well, that's what I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, interesting.
Yeah, well, they would still have their marketing, their promotions. I'm sure they still have a staff that they I don't know what they do,
they're just
but
trying to bring awareness.
Awareness, and to do that, it costs money. Your website, your employees.
Oh, I get it.
Your branding, marketing.
But let's remind folks, tomorrow from 5 to 8 at the Kroger at the South Loop of Conroe, we're doing National Night Out presented by the Conroe Police Department. Free food, music, and family fun, starting at 5 o'clock all the way to 8 o'clock. Yeah, everyone knows where that new Kroger is, so you shouldn't have. If you have any trouble, I linked the event for people, so you can click on it and things like that. And
but before we go, I just want to ask: is that the parking lot in front of Kroger, or is it the entire shopping center, or
it's a large portion of the Kroger parking lot is roped off for all the vehicles, for all the agencies that'll be attending, and
all the tents.
And parking would be more.
Parking will be away from it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What's really funny to me is when people see a bunch of police cars together, they get kind of scared. So you're gonna be leaving the lights on, so people driving by.
We're gonna have the lights on some of them, and
something's
let the
going
kids
down
climb
at the
around them
Kroger.
and play on them, and
You might see the life light take off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on to your hat.
Something's really going down at Kroger. I'd be like, what is this? Hopefully there's a sign saying National Night Out right in front, because that would be really funny, all the people driving by.
There's always a lot of all the tents and various organizations have like
Okay, good.
giveaways.
You'll see. It looks like a social
get a lot of-
gathering.
Okay, good.
Not a crime scene.
yeah, there'll be a lot of little giveaways,
Yeah.
goodies.
I mean, it
for
sounds
kids.
like a lot of fun. It's casual.
It is.
So
it's
just
casual.
come hang out and
Everybody comes down in shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Kids.
In the Parks and Rec department, we always brought out the prize wheel. Mm-hmm. And that was a big. We'd have a line of kids down the. Just to spin the prize
Is
wheel,
Chief Christie
so-
going to have all the foam police officers
Yeah,
there for the
probably.
kids? The wristbands, a lot of.
Yeah, they usually have the wristbands, the little badges and stickers
Yeah.
and things like that. Little gift bags that they
Yeah.
hand out to the
Yeah,
children.
a lot of
Yeah,
the
there'll be a
booths have
lot
bags
for
they
the
give.
kids.
yeah. I mean, all ages too.
You can get a lot of cool stuff.
Really.
Yeah.
Like if you're new to the neighborhood, come check it out.
Yeah.
So is there? I got the link for the folks. So it's tomorrow 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the 3rd at the South Loop Kroger. It's free, so just come. I don't understand. Just come. And there's food there. You'll figure it out. There's Kroger, so if you're hungry, go to Kroger, get a sandwich.
Yeah.
So But yeah, I think it's a cool night, and it happens every year. So if you can't make it tomorrow night, you can always plan on next year. And always check your local neighborhood, because I think the neighborhood one's a lot of fun too. So if you can't make it, just see what's going on with your neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, Sergeant Dickenson, thank you so much for coming in. Andrew and Elizabeth, it's always a pleasure to see you guys. You're listening to Mornings of Lone Star here at Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com, worldwide on the app, and also Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. I got another special guest coming in a little later. We have Casa coming in. They're having a cornhole tournament, or she likes to call it a cornament. I don't know. I couldn't really understand what it was. But there's a cornhole tournament happening out at B52, so we're going to learn all about that later in the day. You're listening to Mornings of Lone Star. We're going to get back to some tunes. Stick around.
We have the safest food supply in the world. Strict laws and regulations restrict the usage of hormones, antibiotics, and pesticides